So we're talking about an all-time job. We're in an all-time job market, all time, right? Generational job market happening right now. If you are not learning skills in your job, if your boss is an asshole, if whatever reason, leave now. Go start to get the skills that you need. So if and when the next kind of recession.
Of course 2008 will happen again. Yes, this is how the world and economy works. Things go really well. I mean, and we're way, if you look at like what's happened like the last 40 years, we're way overdue. Like it should have happened like 3 years ago. So it'll happen. I don't know when it'll happen. I mean, right now things are continuing to crank. You know, the things that start to make you nervous again are when you see we're starting to do the same types of mortgages again, and people have more college debt than they had in 2008. And I think that recipe together, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary talks about this actually a lot. Like, I think that could be the powder keg.
So you couple someone coming now that they didn't have 10, 15 years ago with $200,000 in debt, getting a $800,000 mortgage, getting a brand new car, with a job that pays like $70,000, $60,000, $50,000 out of college, like, there will just be a time of reckoning again. And we just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over.
How can we avoid the next recession, and what can the biggest organizations in the world, what can their leaders do to like play their part in helping to avoid the next economic downturn?
I don't think we should, it's not avoid, you can't avoid it. Like, there's no point in saying like, what can we do to avoid it? Like, it will happen. It's like life and death. There's no avoiding it. It will happen. It's inevitable. Like, there's always like, we live in a world of yin and yang. Like so to me, like that, it's less. I would say for this question, to me, it's less important about like, will it happen? It's what can you do to recession proof?
To me, as a sales leader in particular, what you can do to recession proof your team is to really invest in the soft skills of selling. And what I mean by that is, what does it actually mean to be consultative? What does it actually mean to talk about the value that you provide versus the product? Because what starts to happen is the teams that win, that I saw back, again, when I lived through the last recession, and I saw the sales teams that won historically were teams that knew how to talk about the business, the value, the impact, regardless of the product. So you really have to make sure that your sales team really has the skills that they need to be recession proof. And to me, those are the behavioral psychology, the sociology skills to really understand why people behave the way that they behave. And really investing in the soft skills in particular, that's going to be really critical, because as budgets start to shrink, your salespeople are going to have to start to create needs. You know, you've got to create a little bit more fear, uncertainty, doubt, those types of things, like when the market's tough. When everyone's out there buying, your salespeople don't have to be that great. But man, when the market starts to condense, your salespeople better know how to create need.
Hey, I'm calling in like, oh, timing's not great. Okay, bye. Right? Like, I've got to be able to say, look, so Emily, like, what happens when you don't solve this problem? Like, what's that going to do to marketing in 3, 6, 12 months if you're not able to do that? Well, it'll be this, but like, no, Emily, like, let's talk about it. So like, I think salespeople are going to have to really focus on what it means to be a salesperson, which is, how do I create a need? How do I provide value? And that's where going to be the companies that win and the companies that don't. You know, Challenger Sale talks about this a little bit, but I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. It's about, I've got to light a fire. I've got to create a need. And the sales orgs that do will win. The ones that don't will fail. Not because the product's bad, because they didn't adapt fast enough.
You know, look, I probably talk to you on a monthly basis between 50 and 100 venture-backed companies. And the companies that are getting funding and the value, if you look at what's happening even at seed round, the amount of seed funds that have popped up over the last 4 years, I'm an investor in one, Stage 2 Capital, is huge. And you're seeing that there's a lot of noise in the market, and a lot of people getting money that maybe shouldn't be getting money.
I think marketing and sales organizations, the issue when times are fat, like they are right now, unemployment at an all-time low, spending at a high. I mean, look at what's happening with venture capital funding. Like, do you have two dudes in a dream? Did one of them go to Stanford? Here's like $5 million. As when times are fat, people get lazy on sales and marketing, because almost anything, like all they have to do is have like a good video or something, and like things will just work naturally. The salespeople, are used to just calling in, hey, I'm with this space. People have more discretionary budget. than they've had in past years, so people are spending more freely.
So I don't know when it's going to come. I think, for me, the things that are exciting about it is it eliminates a lot of the noise from the market. You got to be good, you got to be better. When the last housing, in 2008, 2009, 2010, I was like career builder, and I had the best 2 years ever. Imagine nobody was hiring, and we're selling job ads, right, and resume database. So I think really you have to be good, which for me is exciting.
So for you, it's like an opportunity to prove yourself. But what about people who are freaked out and afraid? How do you deal with
Get better.
fear around it?
Get better. Be better at what you do. That's the only way to avoid it is be better. You know where the areas are. You're probably good at whatever it is, but that's the only way to do it. You have to be better. You can't ever stop moving forward. You can't ever stop growing.
How do you do that?
You're
get better, and I'm yeah, but there's gotta be a point somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That is the solution, but where's the in between?
Part of it is just you have to have a different mindset about just how you look at failure or how you look at yourself, and also just really understanding just how long life is and how impermanent all situations are. I think it is one of the biggest benefits of getting older. As a benefit now of being 39 is I've seen this fucking movie a couple of times now. I know that, this thing happened, but you know what? It's happened 7 other times and it always ended up okay. Oh, that person disappointed me, everything's gonna be fine. Oh, that thing happened, it's all gonna be fine. So I think once you have a chance to see it, and I think you don't have to get older to understand that, but I think a lot of people don't want to, we feel it so deeply when it happens, as opposed to being able to see, look, you'll get over it over time. That nothing is really that serious. There's very, very few things that are gonna really be the end of the world situations. The benefit of being older is you get a chance to really see that play out, even just for a little bit. And I'm sure when I'm 50, I'm gonna be dude, remember all that dumb shit you used to stress about when you were 39?
What can a VP of sales start prepping their team with now?
I've talked a lot about this around the whole role of sales development. And is sales development really preparing you for anything? It's we're training these people to just set appointments, and then your next job is in sales. Sales is having a conversation, running a discovery. I would ask you to get better and examine the work that you're doing now. Are you actually learning a skill that you're man, this is gonna help me to do these other 7 things? There's no doubt, setting meetings, cold calling, there's a lot of value you're gonna get for that. Once you get that down, and if you really want to be in sales, there's probably other paths to get there. So I think I would just be really smart about the skills that you're learning right now, because, again, if it happens and it's 2 years later, and you don't have the skills that you think you need to get to that next level, it's gonna be real tough. It's gonna be hard. And you're just gonna probably have to just stay with that same job for maybe a little bit longer, as opposed to where people aren't willing to take as much of a chance because unemployment's higher. Unemployment right now is at the lowest level since the 60s or some shit. It's wild. My advice for anyone is the employment market has never been better. Unemployment is at an all-time low since the 60s. Right? So we're talking about an all-time job. We're in an all-time job market, all-time, right? Generational job market happening right now. If you are not learning skills in your job, if your boss is an asshole, if whatever reason, leave now. Go start to get the skills that you need. So if and when the next kind of recession or whatever happens, you've been able to level up. You're at a better company. You're in a better situation. Don't just stay in the situation that you're in. Go find a job that's gonna get you the skills, a leader that you believe in, right? Go find the best place for you now while you can, right? Because these companies that are hiring at record clips right now, look, take us, right? We've almost 3x employee size over the last, 4 months, right? And I think it's because the talent's there, the money's flowing, but I know it won't always be that way. So now is the time to take your chance. And I'd say that's for a CEO just the same it is for a person with 2 to 5 years of experience.